The Japan Meteorological Agency, JMA, issued its highest level 5 heavy rain emergency warning for the Chiba region for the first time in history on August 13, 2026, as torrential downpours triggered catastrophic urban flash floods, widespread mudslides, and massive structural power outages across eastern and central Japan. Over 230,000 residents across Chiba, Ibaraki, and Saitama prefectures have been hit with urgent citywide evacuation orders. The catastrophic weather follows a volatile atmospheric combination of the remnants of Typhoon Chan-hom and subsequent severe guerrilla rain systems. Floodwaters have completely submerged cars, residential communities, and major transportation hubs, leaving hundreds of travelers stranded at Chiba Metro Station and plunging over 10,000 households into darkness. Emergency rescue teams, local firefighters, and national disaster management agencies are currently executing localized water rescues as multiple river systems breach their banks across the Kanto and Tokai regions. Chiba Prefecture has borne the absolute brunt of this extreme meteorological event, with the Japan Meteorological Agency, JMA, confirming that localized rainfall intensities have reached unprecedented proportions. A Level 5 emergency alert, the highest available tier on the National Disaster Risk Index, was deployed across 14 major municipalities. In Kashiwa and Abiko Cities, radar tracking systems managed by weather officials indicated an exceptional moisture column, dumping 110 millimeters of water per hour near Kashiwa and 100 millimeters near Abiko. Visual confirmation broadcast by the public network NHK World Japan showed entire sub-districts inundated, with floodwaters reaching half the height of standard passenger vehicles within minutes. In Chiba City, gauge measurements logged a staggering 148 millimeters of rain within a compressed 3-hour window. Sakura City registered approximately 100 millimeters in under 60 minutes, overwhelming urban drainage canals and forcing a rapid overflow into low-lying commercial blocks. On Ichikawa and Narashino, local municipal offices issued immediate, unconditional safety orders. Business owners reported sudden, unannounced blackouts that halted automated pump systems, leaving storage facilities and ground floors highly vulnerable to incoming muddy flows. Neighboring regions in the Kanto-Koshin area have faced severe disruptions as a direct consequence of the geographical spread of the storm bands. Ground systems already heavily saturated by the early week landfall of Typhoon Chan-hom in southern Ibaraki could no longer absorb the added influx. In Ibaraki Prefecture, having recently logged its first ever official typhoon landfall since detailed historical bookkeeping began in 1951, Ibaraki suffered extensive structural weakening. The additional torrential thunderstorms on August 13th caused immediate agricultural runoff and structural flooding in central towns. On Saitama Prefecture, tens of thousands of suburban households were swept up in the expanded evacuation advisory zone issued by the Fire and Disaster Management Agency, FDMA. Hillsides across western Saitama showed critical signs of structural failure, resulting in preemptive roadblocks to avert mass casualties from potential landslide trajectories. In Nagoya City, unstable atmospheric elements produced exceptionally violent thunderstorms accompanied by fierce gales, generating low visibility environments across primary metropolitan thoroughfares. Wind-driven downpours incapacitated local storm drains, causing deep pooling on elevated expressways and forcing motorists to abandon vehicles on lower municipal streets. Tokai infrastructure regional operators monitored rivers closely as water volumes approached dangerous historical thresholds. The combination of intense wind shear and rapid flash accumulation posed immediate threats to local power distribution towers. The unprecedented severity of the mid-August 2026 floods stems from a highly unusual and dangerous meteorological alignment. Experts point to 3 distinct contributing factors that created a perfect storm scenario over the Japanese archipelago. The 15th typhoon of the 2026 season, Chan-hom, exhibited a rare eastward to westward trajectory. This anomaly was driven by a powerful, stationary high-pressure system suspended directly north of the mainland, recording a central barometric pressure of 980 hectopascals and sustained winds of 126 kilometers per hour. The storm made landfall in Ibaraki Prefecture, introducing immense atmospheric instability. As Chan-hom tracked across the main island and transitioned into a tropical depression over the Sea of Japan, it dragged a massive conveyor belt of warm, humid tropical air from the Pacific Ocean. This highly volatile moisture collided with cooler air currents over the Kanto region, creating an ideal environment for localized convective columns. Rather than dispersing, these convective storms aligned into narrow, highly concentrated corridors known as linear rain bands. These systems continually regenerate over the same geographical coordinates, dropping monumental volumes of water over specific cities like Kashiwa, Sakura, and Ichikawa for hours on end, entirely bypassing the capacity of advanced Japanese civil engineering frameworks. The compounding effects of structural flooding, severe mudslides, and electrical failure have caused a near-total paralysis of critical civil infrastructure across eastern Japan. Japan Railways, JR, and urban metro systems faced severe operational blockages on August 13th. Tree branches, compromised by high winds and oversaturated soil matrices, collapsed onto overhead electrical networks. This forced a comprehensive shutdown of the Shonan Shinjuku, Chuo, Ome, and Tokaido lines. Additional suspensions were enacted across the Uchibo, Sobu Main, Kashima, Sotobo, Narita, and Kururi lines, effectively severing commuter links between Tokyo and outlying prefectures. At Chiba Station, hundreds of travelers were left completely stranded as tracks became fully submerged. According to statements released by TEPCO Power Grid, lightning strikes, flooded substations, and localized mudslides disconnected power lines across the Kanto region. Over 10,000 households in Chiba Prefecture remain without power under hazardous night conditions. Emergency repair crews face severe mobility constraints due to inundated access roads, prolonging restoration efforts in critical zones. To ensure labor safety and prevent massive structural assets from being damaged by floodwaters, prominent industrial conglomerates, including leading automotive plants, strategically halted production schedules across central Japan. Commercial shopping facilities, underground malls, and transit-linked business sectors in Chiba and Tokyo closed early as water breached protective barriers. In response to the rapid escalation of the flood threat, the Japanese central government, in close coordination with prefectural disaster management boards, activated its localized emergency response protocol. Special water rescue divisions from local fire departments and municipal police forces were deployed using motorized boats to navigate flooded streets in Chiba Prefecture. Hundreds of public school gymnasiums, community halls, and structurally reinforced public centers were opened to accommodate evacuees. Evacuation zones prioritized senior citizens, children, and those residing near high-risk slopes vulnerable to sudden mudslides. For citizens trapped by rapidly rising waters, where outdoor movement posed an immediate threat to life, emergency broadcast systems advised immediate vertical evacuation. This instructed individuals to move to the third floor or higher of sturdy concrete buildings, positioned away from adjacent hillsides. The devastating impacts of the August 13th floods are mathematically magnified because various regions of Japan are still actively recovering from separate, severe environmental events that occurred earlier in the month and preceding weeks. In early August 2026, a powerful magnitude 7.1 earthquake struck Kumamoto Prefecture, causing extensive structural degradation and house collapses. Roughly 6,700 residents were still utilizing emergency shelter infrastructure when the outer moisture bands of subsequent tropical storms began slamming the region, adding immense logistical pressure to disaster management networks. Just days prior to the Chiba deluge, Typhoon Dolphin battered the southern islands of Okinawa and Kagoshima prefectures with maximum sustained winds of 144 kilometers per hour and peak gusts of 198 kilometers per hour. Dolphin forced the preemptive evacuation of 260,000 residents and caused widespread power grid failures across 44,000 buildings in Naha, leaving regional soils fully saturated and highly volatile before the current Kanto storm system arrived. Prominent environmental researchers and meteorologists specializing in East Asian weather patterns emphasize that the increasing frequency of these concurrent, ultra-intense moisture events is a tangible expression of human-driven climate change. As global average sea surface temperatures rise, the body of water surrounding the Japanese archipelago evaporates at a significantly accelerated rate. This injects immense volumes of precipitable water vapor into passing atmospheric depressions. Consequently, tropical storms that historically dissipated or tracked safely out to sea are now transforming into highly explosive, unpredictable rain events. These storms carry enough moisture to trigger severe flash floods in hyper-developed urban centers like Tokyo and Chiba. The Japan Meteorological Agency, JMA, and disaster management officials strongly urge all residents located within eastern, central, and northeastern Japan to maintain extreme vigilance over the next 24 to 48 hours. Do not approach riverbanks, drainage channels, or low-lying agricultural plains under any circumstances, as sudden upstream releases or structural collapses can cause water levels to surge exponentially within seconds. Regularly check real-time updates via public broadcaster NHK, municipal wireless systems, and the official JMA Disaster Information Portal. Ensure emergency go bags containing clean water, portable power banks, flashlights, and vital medical supplies are easily accessible if an immediate Level 4 or Level 5 evacuation order is broadcast for your specific sub-district. Meanwhile, a woman in her 70s was taken to hospital but feared dead after she was found trapped inside a car on a flooded road in Kashiwa, also in Chiba Prefecture. Vehicles were stuck on flooded roads across Chiba Prefecture, while water gushed from manholes in the city of Chiba. People waded through knee-high water in a rush to get home. More than 100 people gathered inside the prefectural government building, which was temporarily made available for stranded commuters. A 34-year-old woman who lives about a 15-minute walk from JR Han Chiba Station said, "I was soaked up to my knees, while the convenience stores and police box were suffering from power outages. I felt unsafe and headed back. I would ideally like to avoid staying the night here, but I have to wait for the rain to stop and the water to recede," she said. "I've never seen anything like this before."
진짜お兄さん超なんか英語だった。